war in a way no other military unit could. They sketched the destroyed towns, the bewildered French citizens, and the exhausted American GIs they were protecting. Ellsworth Kelly spent his free time painting abstracts on scraps of canvas, unknowingly laying the groundwork for his post-war career. Bill Blass absorbed the details of uniforms in the landscape, refining an eye for design that would later make him a titan of American fashion. For these men, the war was a period of intense artistic pressure and deep camaraderie. Their unique role allowed them a proximity to the front line, combined with an artist's distance, making their collective body of work a unique and often beautiful, if melancholy, visual record of the European campaign. Part 3. The Ultimate Performance. The Crossing of the Rhine. By the spring of 1945, the Allied armies had pushed the German forces back to their final, natural defense line, the Rhine River. Crossing this wide, heavily defended waterway was the last major obstacle before the heart of Germany. General George S. Patton's Third Army was planning a massive, high-risk crossing, Operation Plunder, and the Ghost Army was given their most critical assignment yet, Operation Viersen. The mission was to divert German attention from the actual crossing point at the city of Remagen, where Real Bridge had been unexpectedly captured, and further south. The Ghost Army was to simulate the presence of two full divisions, the 30th and 79th Infantry Divisions, poised to cross the Rhine near the city of Viersen, approximately 10 miles away from the true assault zone. The operation was a logistical and creative masterpiece that spanned over a week. The setup. 1. Radio deception. This started first. For several days, the signal company broadcast a constant, increasing stream of fake radio traffic mimicking the communications of the two non-existent divisions preparing for a river crossing. They talked about pontoon bridge equipment, troop staging areas, and final preparations for the assault. German intelligence swallowed the bait, diligently reporting the massing of two American divisions at the Viersen sector. Sonic deception. On the night of March 18, 1945, the sound trucks were rolled out. Under the cover of darkness, they began playing the recorded sounds of massive engineering work, the clanking of heavy machinery, the roaring of trucks, and the voices of thousands of men building a pontoon bridge, and the dull, rhythmic thud of pile drivers pounding into the riverbank. This sonic barrage continued for 3 days, day and night, convincing the German sentries across the river that a huge crossing operation was in full swing. Visual deception. The 603rd Camouflage Engineers took center stage. In the final hours before the actual crossing, the men worked feverishly to inflate and position hundreds of rubber decoys, tanks, trucks, and artillery, all carefully arranged in staging areas and along fake roads to create the perfect illusion of a massive force waiting to cross. The men even faked a headquarters command post by creating convincing signage and using real jeeps in front of a modest house. The operation culminated on March 22, 1945, when the Third Army began its true crossing of the Rhine further down the river. The Ghost Army's hectoring sounds and threatening array of equipment had completely diverted German attention away from the actual crossing point, providing the Allies with the element of surprise that was pivotal for the success of Operation Plunder.
The payoff. The deception worked flawlessly. German forces, convinced that the main Allied assault was coming at Viersen, kept their armor and heavy artillery focused on the Phantom divisions. When the real crossing at Remagen and further south began, the German defense was dangerously thin. The Ghost Army's performance had successfully drawn the German guns away, allowing tens of thousands of Allied soldiers to cross the Rhine with significantly reduced resistance. Military historians estimate that the Ghost Army's deceptions, particularly at the Rhine, saved thousands of lives. In the Viersen sector, where the German counterattack should have been devastating, the enemy was caught flat-footed, fighting a battle against ghosts. Part 4. Sworn to silence. With the end of the war, the men of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops were ordered to disperse. Their equipment was packed away, and their records were stamped with a high level of secrecy. The unit was officially deactivated, and every single member was sworn to an absolute oath of silence. For them, the war was over, but their story was just beginning its decades-long hibernation. They returned to civilian life and, true to their oath, never spoke of their missions. Bill Blass went back to New York and launched the fashion house that would make his name synonymous with American style. He never mentioned the inflatable tanks he helped design. Ellsworth Kelly returned to Paris, then New York, to pursue his painting career, his early wartime sketches tucked away in private collections. The sound engineers returned to Hollywood and the emerging radio and television industries, never mentioning the powerful speakers that broadcast the sounds of battle across the Rhine. For 50 years, the Ghost Army was a historical footnote, an unexplained gap in the record books. If a veteran mentioned a special camouflage unit, the records did not confirm it, and the veterans themselves would quickly change the subject. It was a secret kept perfectly by over 1,000 men who understood the importance of the silence they had sworn to. The secrecy was necessary because the Allies knew that deception, the use of dummy armies, fake radio traffic, and staged movements would be an invaluable tool in any future conflict. Revealing the Ghost Army's methods would be like giving away the playbook to potential enemies. Part 5. The Declassification and Legacy. The silence was finally broken in 1996 when the official records of the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops were finally declassified. It was a moment of shock for historians and a profound validation for the aging veterans. Suddenly, a strange, half-remembered chapter of the war snapped into focus. News reports and a subsequent documentary, The Ghost Army, 2013, brought the story into the American public consciousness. The astonishment was immediate. A unit of artists had been one of the most effective and least known weapons in the Allied arsenal. The legacy of the Ghost Army is far-reaching and deeply informative, particularly for a modern American audience. The power of unconventional thinking. The Ghost Army stands as a powerful testament to the value of creativity in solving seemingly insurmountable problems. It was an interdisciplinary unit where artistic imagination and engineering prowess combined to create a unique form of warfare. It showed that the best weapon isn't always the biggest gun, but the cleverest idea. The saved lives. The final, most important statistic of the Ghost Army is not how many enemy soldiers they killed, but how many American lives they saved. By consistently drawing enemy fire and attention away from the real battle, they created a tactical buffer that protected thousands of frontline troops. The Congressional Gold Medal. Decades after their service, in February 2022, the unit was formally recognized for its service. The surviving members of the Ghost Army were collectively awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, cementing their place in American military history. The Ghost Army's astonishing true story is a reminder that the great conflicts of history are not won by brute force alone. They are won by intelligence, ingenuity, and sometimes the sheer, audacious creativity of a group of artists who were given the stage of war and turned it into the greatest, most life-saving performance ever conceived. Their story is a hidden cornerstone of the American victory in Europe, a testament to the bravery of those who fought not with bullets, but with beautiful, elaborate lies.